Post-credit scenes have become a popular way for movie makers to tease their next installment or sequel. Mission Impossible follows this trend with many of their post-credit scenes. The post-credit sequence of Mission Impossible reveals tantalizing hints about the next movie. After the credits roll, the audience is left with a cliffhanger. The first of the post-credit sequences occurs in Mission Impossible 2. IMF agent Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, is in pursuit of a former IMF agent known as Kittredge. Kittredge is trying to get his hands on a deadly virus known as Chimera. The post-credit sequence features Hunt driving a motorcycle and Kittredge in hot pursuit. The post-credit scene in Mission Impossible 3 reveals a bit more of the plot for the next movie. Hunt is investigating a secret organization known as the Syndicate and a mysterious individual named Owen Davian. The post-credit scene from Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol hints at the international syndicate known as the Apostles, which will play an important role in the next installment. The post-credit sequence in Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation features Rebecca Ferguson's character Ilsa Faust pursuing an unknown target. The post-credit sequence in Mission Impossible, Fallout continues Ilsa Faust's mission, this time involving a suitcase full of cash. The post-credit scene in Fallout hints at the Syndicate's plan to take out Hunt and his team. This sets up the plot for the next movie. The post-credit sequence in Mission Impossible, Fallout also features a brief glimpse of Hunt and the IMF team in a dangerous situation. The post-credit scene in Fallout reveals the return of Solomon Lane, Sean Harris, the villain from Rogue Nation. Lane appears to be working with a syndicate, thus setting up the premise for the next movie. The post-credit scene in Fallout also hints at the return of Ilsa Faust, who is now a double agent working for both the Syndicate and the IMF. The post-credit sequence in Fallout also reveals Hunt and his team on a mission to retrieve a mysterious artifact known as the White Widow. This artifact is believed to contain a powerful virus, setting up the plot for the next installment. The post-credit scene in Fallout also reveals the identity of the mysterious individual known as the Architect, Vanessa Kirby. The post-credit sequence in Fallout also features a brief glimpse of John Lark, Henry Cavill, a criminal mastermind with links to the Syndicate. This post-credit sequence also hints at a showdown between Hunt and Lark in the next installment. The post-credit sequence in Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation briefly introduced an individual known as the Widow, Rebecca Ferguson. The post-credit scene in Rogue Nation reveals that the Widow is a double agent, working both for the Syndicate and the IMF. The post-credit sequence in Rogue Nation hints at a future showdown between the Widow and Hunt in the next movie. The post-credit scene in Rogue Nation features a brief glimpse of Hunt and his team in a dangerous situation, setting up the premise for the next installment. The post-credit sequence in Rogue Nation also reveals the return of Lane, the villain from Mission Impossible, Fallout. Lane appears to be working with a syndicate, hinting at the plot for the next movie. The post-credit sequence in Rogue Nation also hints at the return of Ilsa Faust, who is now a double agent working for both the Syndicate and the IMF.